What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone is having at least a better week than we all were last week. Welcome to the off season. We're gonna make it a quick show today. Jason came down with the weather, so we'll go ahead and do our 2022 season review next week. Or sorry, the 21st. We're taking next week off also. But we'll get on more on that later. But we're going to go ahead, and the Niners made a hire at defensive coordinator and went and signed two players to reserve contracts. Kind of give my thoughts on the season and some things John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan had to say. But before we get started with that, of course, we got to remind everybody to stay tuned to the end of the show for a special 10% off coupon code for all season 2 for the Faithful by the Faithful apparel, exclusively available at NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop. Help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our shop49ers.com affiliate link. Link will be in the description of this video or podcast. Go to SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio and Twitter at Niner Faithful R. Jason's going to go ahead and be putting out content all off season. To see everywhere you can subscribe to the show, go ahead and visit NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe. And yet again, man, I ain't gonna lie, I was hoping to do a Super Bowl game day show preview, but unfortunately wasn't meant to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, faithful of all ages, let's get the show cracking.
You are now listening to Niner Faithful Radio, the show for the faithful, by the faithful.
All right, so one last second while we go ahead and pin this show up. We'll have to get rid of all the other shows. Okay, let me see. We'll go ahead and do that right now. Anyway, so I guess we shouldn't bury the lead. The Niners went ahead and hired Steve Wilks as their defensive coordinator. He was the interim coach for the Panthers this year. Also served as the 2018 head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, but was fired after going 3-13. This seems to be who Kyle wanted. You know, there was rumors that he was up to be a head coach. So ideally, I kind of want some stability, at the DC position. And, tired of switching DCs every year, every other year since 2019. So, or 2020 at least. But alas, we'll of course have more we'll also have more in a couple weeks when Jason's back joining us, and we can get some more of his breakdown on Wilks. We'll probably have a introductory press conference to have go over and all that good stuff. We also resigned to future reserve contracts Taron Johnson, wide receiver, and cornerback Trey Swelling. Obviously, not somebody you really fully expect to make the roster, but with so many free agents this year, I mean, Who knows what this roster is going to look like? I mean, let's be weird. Okay, so let's break that down for a second. Secondary, I think we could bring Deshaun Gibson back. I think the secondary will be the same as far as Deshaun Gibson and Talanoa Hufanga starting at safeties. Then corners, I would think maybe E-Man be able to come back. If not, then obviously you got Deommodore Lenoir and then Mooney Ward. Jimmy Ward, I think Jimmy Ward's gone. Obviously, you have at least your two inside starting players in linebackers inside Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. I think Aziz is probably gone. And some D linemen are gonna leave, but we're gonna sprinkle some more in. But Sampson is the only one as far as the starter is concerned that I see gone. Honestly, I'd love to see Charles Omenihu back. I'd love to see Arden Key back. But that might just not be possible. Also, we got an announcement on our schedule. This is something that I thought was pretty interesting because I didn't know exactly how the formula as far as who the 17th game is was figured out, but this article says it. So this would be kind of cool to see. Okay, so I got to make sure that we just do it on Twitch. Oh, and podcast. A little behind the show stuff. Y'all don't get to see. You just get to hear. Okay. So, with the addition of the 17th game, according to the league formula, the 17th game will be played between two teams who have played one another 2 seasons prior and have finished in the same spot in their own divisions the preceding year. So, let's go back to 2021. '49ers. Let me see, because it'd be 24, 23, 22. Actually, it'd be this year's schedule. So, theoretically, the 17th game would be next year would be a team from the AFC West. So it'd either be at home to Denver, Kansas City, the Chargers, or the Raiders would be who would be 17th game next year. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, you got to figure out some type of formula to it. That's kind of a little crazy. I mean, a little confusing. Not necessarily ideal. Let's see. I'm trying to stall here and try to give us some more time and more things to talk about. I was not prepared to do a show solo bolo today. Trent Williams was fined $12,500 for throwing an Eagles player down to the ground. I have not heard if the Eagles player was fined. I mean, I don't know. I'm having a hard time with that one because I mean they were taking cheap shots at us all game, and it's a little like, so what? I mean, The game was over. Clearly, Trent was frustrated. That's not how he envisioned this season ending. No, not how any of us envisioned it ending. It looks like, also another positive more update. It looks like Brock Purdy will go with the internal brace option. So he will not get Tommy John and essentially miss next season. I think that's a little bit of Brock Purdy being like, I'm trying everything to make sure that Trey Lance can essentially take my job. Because let's be real, if all things are tied between Trey Lance and if all things are tied between Trey Lance and Brock Purdy next year, they're going to give the job to Trey Lance. Now, obviously, we all think that, or I shouldn't say we all think, but it's, I would think going into the offseason, it would be Brock Purdy's job to lose, just off the top of my head. That's how I would think. I don't know how y'all feel about it. Let me go ahead and know in the comments. But this to me is I'm excited because what this ultimately is going to do is get the best out of Brock Purdy and Trey Lance. And you know what? I think after this year, we might not know if Trey Lance is a franchise quarterback who's going to win us multiple championships. I don't think that will be solved for at least another year or two, or at least another 2 years. But we'll know if he's worthy of keeping around and building around, or not building around him because the team is essentially built around him already. If he'll be a integral piece moving forward, or do we need to go back to the drawing board at quarterback? Or is Brock Purdy really the one? I think we saw enough to say that he should be on the team next year. He should have a chance at the job. But, and I'm not blaming him at all, but he played, 9 games and got hurt. Now, I'm not blaming him at all. I know apparently Lombardi said he should have stepped up. I mean, okay, then what? I mean, he's probably still going to get sacked. Maybe he doesn't, get his arm bent back and tear his UCL, but it's funny for a team that's in the NFC Championship game, should win a lot of football games next year and really compete for a championship. There's a question mark at the most important position. That's kind of how there's been some type of question around the Niners quarterback position every year, except maybe 2017, just because the idea was, okay, you're going to go through whatever this year is and then go get Kirk Cousins in 2018. 2018 was it, is Jimmy worth that money that we signed him to in 2017? 2019, there's Jimmy coming off the ACL. 2020 is, flirting with Tom Brady, and is Jimmy Garoppolo the one? And, that you could say that's when those who have gotten off the Jimmy G train, that's when you could say it started. 2021 was essentially understood this was going to be Jimmy Garoppolo's last year with the Niners, even though it wasn't. And essentially Trey was going to take the job this year. And it was just a formality of Jimmy starting. Obviously, the craziness of this year, and then the questions of is Trey ready? And then next year will be, is Trey ready? And what's going on with Brock Purdy? Never a dull moment with this football team. All right, y'all. Well, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Unless there's something crazy that happens. Hopefully, we'll have a lot more material to give y'all on that week's show. But before we get out of here, we, of course, got to remind everybody that the promo code for 10% off of all season 2 For the Faithful by the Faithful apparel is The Quest Continues. Go ahead and help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our shop49ers.com affiliate link. Link is in the description of the video or podcast. Go to SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio and Twitter at Niner Faithful R. And to see everywhere you can subscribe to the show, go ahead and visit NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe. We shall see y'all February 21st. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.
You are now listening to Niner Faithful Radio, the show for the faithful, by the faithful.
See ya.